Okay. So let me just share my screen quickly. Okay. So I believe my screen is visible to all. Is my voice audible?
Yes. Yeah, your skin is visible.
Okay. Thank you guys for the confirmation. So hello everyone. Good morning. It's pleasant to see you all here. So I think you as a weekend and most of you will be enjoying your weekends. But let's do some learning today. So moreover, as you all know, we are here for the cloud technology AWS, and we'll be cracking this SACO CO3 exam with this. And more of an exam, I wanted to be a hands-on exercise, which means that like people believe that if we get a certification, okay, the things are done, we have get a credibility in the industry, but that's the upside down thing actually. Like let's suppose like many of you will be freshers and many of you will be experienced, so the things vary for you a bit. Okay, for freshers, the hands-on skills will matter at a higher skills, like higher end, because there'll be a lot of questions with the interview, which you will be facing. Okay, and with experience, the questions will change itself. They won't be asked some questions which is not that much, to the fresher grade. Let's suppose I'll ask a question. Just explain me about what is platform as a service or software as a service. Okay. In that case, okay, these kind of questions may not be asked to a experienced guy because these people have actually worked. So before starting this, let me just introduce myself. This is Jerry. I have an experience of delivering around multiple trainings, imparting this to around 25,000 students and more than 2 to 3,000 industry grade professionals as well. So this was a small brief. I have a multi-grade certificate, like multi-cloud certificate. Let it be Google, AWS, Azure, Juniper Network, Cisco. Okay. I have also experience in process mining with Celonis, UiPath, Automation Anywhere, and experience into RPA with Blue Prism, more or less. So that was a short intro about me. So I think we are good to go. So any things you have, any things which we can start, okay, before the session. So you can just put me some questions so that I can just cover it around in between it. So Arjun or Gaurav, are we covering any questions here?
So just go ahead.
Okay, sure. Just give me a second. Okay. So without wasting any of your time, what we will go, I won't uh, jump with any kind of slides or PPTs or anything, but rather to the whole AWS channel. Okay, so just give me 1 second. I'll just share my screen again. Okay, I believe the screen is visible as well. Amazing. So let's visit to our page. So this is just a introductory session to you, which we'll see the AWS platform. Okay, so that you get a kind of a scenario. How does it look? Okay, so that when you join the session, you should have an idea. Okay, that you know, okay, what is it all about? What are we doing here? Okay, basically. So it shouldn't be in a scenario that okay, we learned something cloud and we learned something AWS and we learned something global infrastructure. Okay, a lot of mumbo jumbos we have in mind. So those kind of technical terms we can more cover during our main sessions from the scratch. So as you have seen on the slide, it's a zero to hero course, which means from the scratch to the intermediate level, you just go with it. Okay, starting from your cloud formation, your cloud essentials. Okay, and let it be what is a server, what's a client, and all that part, and moving towards your AWS design architecture. Like you can start like designing the architecture of AWS. Sounds good to all of you? I think more or less the chat or chats are there. I think anyone can put a ping over that. Okay, you can put a question or anything on top of that. Okay, so let's have a look to our AWS platform. Okay, one second. So this is how a sign-in page basically looks with AWS. Okay. So basically, when you hear about cloud, it's not about more or less about, designing the architecture or all this. You see and listen more about, okay, virtualization, operating system deployment. Is it? So we are gonna start with few of the fundamentals of it so that you get an idea how the things revolve around this. So just give me 1 second. Mm, 1 second, please. So, just before we start, I'm unable to hear a voice. Am I not audible? I believe I'm audible. Can anyone just ping in chat that I'm audible or not? So, one more thing with my sessions, basically, the sessions will be more of interactive. Okay, I'll be taking your feedbacks, your answers at every step. Okay, so that I can acknowledge, okay, what I taught you today you should be able to grasp it by heart, okay, so that you shouldn't have any doubts or you shouldn't need even a doubt clearing class again. Okay, so I'll be covering each step, okay, from the like ground level or the root level towards the upwards cycle. Am I clear with everyone? Just 1 second. So I hope everyone can see my this page, this AWS console. Is everyone able to see my page? I hope everyone is able to give a chat screen. Okay. See, basically, the most essential or a most, kind of a earliest service of AWS is so-called our EC2. I hope you have maybe heard about it. Okay, this is one of the oldest service of AWS. This is majorly responsible and this is the most widely used service of AWS. So we'll just see how does a EC2 dashboard looks, okay, and what it is all about, okay. Excuse me. So basically, when I talk about architect associate course, okay, so let me just give a brief, okay, and then we will understand what like how much percentage allocation or how EC2 is actually playing a vital part, how S3 and other services which are majorly being used, you'll get a kind of idea. So basically, it will just take 2 minutes. So we are trying to prepare for the solutions architect exam, which is SAA CO3, which is basically the most essential and most popularly known certificate exam, and industry requirements has the highest demand for this. Okay, it's not a that much easy certification, but yeah, with me it will be very easy. But yeah, I don't actually suppress or emphasize more, you should only refer, like, go for certifications, because it is all about the knowledge. It's a challenging certification, so those courses will have long and interesting concepts which I'll be covering. You should have basic IT knowledge, which is very much necessary. Okay, this course will contain a lot of hands-on tutorials which will be covering the things of your cloud practitioner, which is the first grade of certification on AWS. I'll be covering those essential concepts with here as well. Okay, that's why we are calling it a zero to hero course. And we'll be also covering some things from other courses which will be needed from here. Okay, so that it can make you industry ready. Okay, so, and we'll be covering around more than 25 to 30 AWS services, more or less. Okay. So if you are a beginner or you are a IT professional or a IT fresher, it's recommended for all, anyone can say, but you can take your time to learn. Okay. And it's not a race, just take in time. So when we'll be covering hands-on tutorials, your mindset shouldn't be like, okay, let's cover it, let's cover it up. Please understand the root cause why, and what is the things behind why you are doing. Okay, that is what the major thing is. And basically, when we talk about AWS, what is AWS? Okay, let's give a brief about it. So AWS is a cloud provider basically. So it provides you with various servers and services that you can use on demand, and it can be scaled easily. Scaling means, like, expanding or reducing the size of something. You can call it upscale or downscaling. Okay, so AWS has actually revolutionized your IT service structure and all these things over time, and it powers most of the biggest technologies and websites in the world, such as Amazon.com and Netflix. So basically, you will get an idea around all these of stuff. Okay. So when we go into the history of AWS, it started by 2022. Then it was not a public project. Okay, like it is a public cloud right now. So it's not a public project, it's an internal project of Amazon itself. Then at 2003, Amazon infrastructure is one of the core strength. They started marketing and getting into the market, okay, with this idea. Then they started, their publicly this SQS service, and then they relaunched their publicly available SQS, S3, and EC2. They started with Europe, then they started giving services to applications such as Netflix, Airbnb, Dropbox, and NASA itself. Okay, so you can having a huge reliability of this, because NASA is a kind of a government project funded of US, so they also believe on AWS strong, robust, and versatile infrastructure. So, if I go to the census of 2019-2022 data, they have around a 40 billion market of annual revenue. So you can imagine the revenue. It is in the past, from 2020 to 2023, after like post COVID, the huge demand has increased of cloud technologies. Okay, and because AWS accounts for around more like around 47% of the market, and Microsoft is at the second. Okay, so still AWS is the most preferred certification for every industry and most preferred cloud technology as well. And talking about cloud technology, whatever cloud technology you run, the fundamentals will remain the same. Only thing which will differ in the cloud and marketing terms which are going to be used. Okay, AWS has more than a million active users. Active users would mean not users like me and you. Active users means industry grade use cases which are being used on daily basis. Okay. And what are the cloud use cases? Any cloud cases do you have in mind? So basically, like there could be multiple cloud cases. Let's suppose any kind of cloud chat applications you have running on cloud, storing the data on your phone as well. Okay, Telegram you're using a fully cloud application. This doesn't store much data of chats inside your phone. You know about this Ola, Uber, these kind of applications which are your navigation, this like transit and traveling applications. Okay, where you can track your taxi and all these cabs where you are traveling over the cloud with the whole navigation API control through Google Cloud. Ola uses that. Okay, and it enables you to build a sophisticated and scalable applications which has a diverse set of industries covered. Okay, the use cases may include your enterprise IT, backup, storage, and big data analytics. Okay, so which also nowadays it is promoting your cloud gaming, which you might know that Reliance and this Geo are the biggest market player in India right now. If we count on the Indian perspective, like Indian companies perspective, they are trying to boost up because they know cloud gaming is in the future. Okay, and they your website hosting, mobile apps, social apps, anything, McDonald's, and all these people are actually on AWS cloud. Okay, so there's the AWS global infrastructure. Okay, so now after we cover the global infrastructure, we can just come around this your resources part, where we'll be covering a EC2 application and try to put up application and check its knowledgeability, how we can cover around it. So let's have a check over here. So I think in let's see, I think it's is it yeah, this one. So let's give me a second. Okay, this is the AWS infrastructure map. You can see there are 102 availability point zones, which is a huge number. Okay, and if you see about regions and availability zones, let's try to divide. So we are in the Asia Pacific region, if you can see. And if you see these green dots, okay, these green dots are called availability zones. Okay, availability zones are nothing but actually a cluster of data centers. Got it? So in India, which was first majorly being used was Bombay, like Mumbai. And if you see Hyderabad, it's been recently launched. This project was actually closed up by last quarter of 2022. So it's a new one, Hyderabad. So these actually, in Indian subcontinent, if you see, the northern people can use this, and the western people, southern people can use this as per the use cases, but doesn't make a lot of difference, as because there's a lot of IT industry, Mumbai end up, and this Hyderabad and down. So that's why they have to set, because they saw a market there. Excuse me. Now, if you go to see here in Hyderabad in India, still the cloud industry is not, having a lot of expansion. It is expanding, but not like the developed nations such as US and European markets. So if I go to US, North America, which where the US and all these people are. So if I see here in Canada Central, they have three availability zones similar to India, but most of the things are in US, which is this region. If you can see, there's a Gulf cloud of US for government purposes. Then they have North Virginia, which is the having around 6 availability zones. This is the highest. Okay, and we have a parameter. Okay, we cannot have less than 2. Okay, so we can't call it availability zone basically. So in Ohio they have 3, then we have here, and then we have Northern California 3. So you can see in US itself they have 6 availability zones. Okay, so and 2 Gulf clouds itself, and Oregon they have 4. So the huge market player and the client market is in US. That is why a lot of availability zones are here. But still, India is expanding. Okay, as a developing nation. So I hope you have all got an idea around what is the availability zone, what is the data center, and all that stuff. More technical topics we can cover when we'll be covering the things from the very root level, which is our uh, starting from what is cloud. Okay, because I will also cover that what is cloud and all. But as it's a first session to understand about what we are going to cover. So I'm just giving a whole set of scenarios. Okay, what all things we are going to give a value around. Okay, so have you seen this availability zones and regions? Okay, so so if I call this, okay, if I just come to India, let's back. So let's suppose it's the Asia Pacific. So this Hyderabad is a region. It has 3 availability zones. Okay, and they have Mumbai is a region, and they has 3 availability zones. Okay, and if you want to categorize the same, okay, so you can see a list below. These are all availability zones. If you can see Mumbai region, okay, 3 availability zones. AWS Asia Pacific Hyderabad, okay. So here it is 3 availability zones, okay. Then we have Jakarta, Osaka in Japan, Hong Kong below to China, Beijing, and this is China, okay. But there is a difference between what things which are being in China. They are more self-centric, and they are not kind of other clouds what you see. Hong Kong, China, these are just a bit of inside themselves. So we don't get a direct access to these clouds as well. So I'll just show you how does it matter to us. Okay. Any questions, guys? Anything which you can put in chat? Any questions in chat? Okay, fine. So let's suppose, okay, there is person X, okay. So if I can ask them four questions, okay, what all things and four questions means like a single question can it cover? How to choose a AWS region? Oh, that's the first question. So there are few parameters, but we can convert it to four. Okay. So basically, first parameter is your compliance, proximity, available services, and the pricing. So compliance, what is compliance? Compliance are the government regulations and legal requirements. Okay, that data should never leave a region without your explicit permission. Okay, that's what it means, and that is called compliance. Okay, and these things are very essential. Okay, be not like being a student, it may not look a lot big scenario, but when you are inside working with the industry, okay, so it is a big deal. It is a big deal. You can't take chance with these kind of scenarios. Compliance is the first priority thing which needs to be cleared out with your client or with your own organization. Okay, how can we deal with the data part? Okay, with the GDPR policies and all that part. Then we have proximity. Okay, proximity, we can call it latency. Okay, many of you might have played or might not have played, I'm not sure, this wartime games such as your PUBG and all. Okay, so these are very much dependence of the latency and the ping what you get. Okay, so that the gameplay is really smooth. Okay, then we have the farther the region is. Let's suppose I'm sitting in India, I'm putting a service in US. Okay, like using the US region. That definitely means that you will have a huge amount of latency coming down from there. So let's suppose we are in here. Okay, and we are putting the server here. So usually it's not a recommended action. Okay, it's not a recommended action, but it depends. Let's suppose you are working in India and your client is in US. Okay, and the client will never want his or her server to be in India or in some other region. Okay, where they don't have the control over the data. Okay, because the data and the data centers are run by regulated by the government regulations. Okay, so that's a very essential part, okay, of any governance model or any compliance model when you are working with data, because data is everything. Okay, so at the end of the day, okay, in these scenarios, if a cloud is in US, you have to put the service in US majorly, and 90% of the cases this is done. Okay, then we have available services. So let's suppose there are few services which might be available in this area, like maybe in, let's suppose in your Virginia, North Virginia. In this region might be there are 100 services available. Let's suppose there are actually 200, maybe 250 services of AWS or plus available. But let's just take a scenario that it has 100 services here, which are, and all the services, let's not 100, like all the services are working here. Okay, when we come to India, there are 30 services, 10 services which are not working. Okay, so in that case, okay, let's forget, let's suppose your client is in India itself, but they want to use a service which is not in India. So definitely there are two scenarios again. In the AWS perspective, you have to choose the region. Okay, like let's suppose I'll go to North America or in Europe, maybe that service is available or any kind of place. I'll just come to this and host my servers over here. So in that case, what will happen? Okay, that the service which I wanted, it will be hosted here. Now the second scenario, okay, which is actually the scenario is you don't use AWS cloud, you will use some other cloud. Okay, but actually those scenarios are very less, and like maybe 1-2% when these kind of things happen. Okay, now the pricing, okay, that's a major factor. Okay, maybe client is very much cost centric and very tight on the budget. Okay, so in those scenarios, actually when we talk about MNCs, these scenarios are very less, but it can happen with a budding startup or something when they are just starting up with the things. Okay, they can actually go with the pricing cost cut, but cost cut is a scenario which every client wants to do. Okay, and if you do on let's suppose a product based company or anything, the major scenario is the cost is also playing a part. So maybe you won't believe the cost could be in thousands of dollars. Okay, maybe 10, 20, 30 or $1 million you can save on the cloud. Okay, like just I will talking about my last client. Okay, so there was just an instance like a server. Let's suppose there is a server who was consuming around approximately they are putting some high-end processors for machine learning and all. So they have got like they were getting around $7,000 to $8,000 a month. Okay, on that particular single server, they had two basically accounts, but or portfolios. But on that same portfolio, 7 to 8 thousand a month they are getting, and which is looping around $1 million. Like not a million, maybe $100,000 a year. It was coming. So with a simple tweak of instance change, they are saving around, okay, 3 to 4K, like half a cost they have saved around. So, and many of them have also saved around 70% cost, because there are some services, like suppose if you are using a 10% of it, they will cost you $1. But when you exceed that 10% mark, okay, when you go to 1% more, they will charge you higher on top of that. Okay. So those are the different things, we can discuss them later. But this is just about the idea. Okay. So each availability zone, what you see, excuse me, in India, let's suppose in North America, because when we'll be starting with the course, we'll be working in North Virginia only, because most of the things are available. Let's suppose in North Virginia, each availability zone, okay, is one or more discrete data centers with redundant power and networking and connectivity. So those are more essential things. So just let me just do one thing. Okay, I'll just explain you in a way. Let me just connect my tab. I think you can just I'll just explain you the hands-on. Any doubts, anyone till now? Any questions, please? If you have, please let me know. One second. Okay. Gaurav Arjun, can you just confirm, is the audio, is the voice is clear and audible to all? Okay, fine. Just give me a second. I'll just add a thing. One second. One second, please. I'm just connecting. Okay, I think I'm audible. One second. I'll just share my screen. Okay, so I think my screen should be visible to all. Okay, so let's understand in a take that how does this actually work. So I think you are getting the full screen now. So basically, when we talk about these scenarios, let's suppose what is the AWS region? Okay, so in this scenario, let's take this is AWS space. This is AWS space. Okay, in this space, okay, this let's suppose this is a region. Let's suppose this is a Virginia region. Okay, it has around uh, 6 availability zones. So how will they look? So let's map them around. So this is the availability zone, this is the availability zone, this is the availability zone, this one, this one, this one. They will be categorized as 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, 1E, and 1F. Okay. So these are all connected to each other. Okay. So can we say these are connected to each other now? No, they aren't. Okay. So how will they be connected? This will be connected to 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 this. Okay. The interconnection to each other, it will be there. Okay. But that doesn't mean that, okay, they are all working together. Okay. Interconnection is already there. They are inside a network. They are in a network, but the establishment who will put the user will furnish the whole infrastructure so that they can work with each other all along. Okay. Similarly, okay, how we name it. Okay, so basically in each availability zone, okay, not each region, okay, usually there are three. Okay, three availability zone, minimum there is two, and maximum there could be six. So this is the categorization. Got it? Am I clear with everyone? Okay, so let's come back. Let's see an example. How actually does it work with a very simple infrastructural view. So let's suppose now I'll set up a server. Okay, so here what will happen? Okay, first of all, let's suppose this is a server. Okay, so how it should look and how it should behave, what should be the infrastructure of it, all these things we should keep in mind before setting up a server. Okay, so how does it look? Any idea? Any idea? Anyone who have set up a server earlier or something, they can just put that thing in chat. One. Okay, 1 second. So let's take an instance. This is our EC2. Look, let's put a heading. We are doing a EC2 infra. Okay, so how are we putting a infra in a very simple way? That is what our intention is. Okay, so this is a basic infrastructure. We are not setting up the networking and what. So what are the components of it? So first of all, you have an AMI. Okay, then you should have, okay, uh kind of, you have to choose EC2 type, instance type basically. Okay, then you should, what you should have to define a security key. Okay, then you have to define a VPC. Okay, what is inside a VPC? There are a few more things. Okay, this VPC defines your AZ. Okay, AZ availability zone. This VPC defines your this protocols. like SSH, HTTP, HTTPS, this VPC defines. This VPC will also define, okay, your security. Okay. Then you can define other things such as you want to deploy something. You can deploy it through a user data category, which will key in forthcoming thing. Then you launch it. This is just a high level idea how the things will be done. Okay, I hope you have understood a scenario a bit. Now we'll be seeing the deployment of the same, a very simple execution. Okay, so let's do it. Excuse me. Okay, where is the screen? Okay, I think we are back to my screen. So let's have a look. We have run with so we are into the EC2 section right now. Okay, so let's see what all things we have here. So let's suppose I want to install launch an instance. Okay, so let's break it up. First of all, we come here, launch instance. Okay, give a name to it. Let's suppose we are launching a Windows instance. Let's take in scenario. Windows INS, okay, anything. Then we'll choose Windows over here, okay. So usually there are various versions, okay, 22 base, core, base, core, base, core, so many things. So we'll be going with the base, okay. And free tier eligibility it should have because we don't want to spend money on this. So it's free, okay. So if you can see in your first tier includes 750 of 2 micro or T2 in regions in which T2 micro is unavailable. So it means that where T2 micro instance type is not available in particular region, in that region T3 micro could be used. Okay. So we have already selected T2 micro, which will be pre-selected only, but free tier eligible. So that's okay with us. Then we should create a key pair, which we'll be defining right now. So let's define it. So I'll just define a win key and what's any date, like I want to remember a date when I created. So 9 Sep and 23. Okay. So and just create a key pair and it will ask us to save it somewhere. Okay. So let's save it somewhere. Okay. So I've saved it here. Okay, this is saved, so you have to keep it handy. Now you have to create a security group. Okay, so basically let's define. So I want to choose a subnet 1C. Okay, and we are in North Virginia region. If you can see on the top right corner here, US East 1, which has 6 availability zones basically. So let's choose one of them. In my case, let's suppose I'll choose 1A. Okay, and I'll just give a name that uh, and same thing you can put in description. Let the key this created thing will be there. Okay, let it be, it's good. RDP anywhere, yeah, fine, it's a RDP remote desktop thing. Okay, so if you want to get a more idea about it, you can just see on the right what are the things which will be used. Okay, SSH RDP for Windows instance, SSH for Linux instance, HTTP and HTTP. But if you want to deploy a server which should be connected to internet, so we can just have a brief on that. So the storage for Windows installations you need 30 GB is fine. So you can just go with that. Nothing we have to put in advanced details. So there are a lot of things we can cover here, but not required right now as a part of this demonstration. So we'll just launch it. Okay. So we'll just launch it. And I think it is still now visible and the visibility is clear. So I'll just turn off my video. I think some of the space it might be consuming a bit. Okay. More or less, I think that is fine. And this is, if you can see, initialize the request, creating the security groups, creating security group rules, and a launch initiation has been done. And the instance is also being launched. So you can just go to view all instances. So it will just take some time to get itself ready. So it is running right now. So it has got itself ready. So it's amazing. So status check it is doing. So we have to log in into this. That's a major thing which we have to do. We have to log into it. So we'll see how we can log in. Okay, in a while. So we are just waiting for the status checks. So it should show 2 by 2 of status checks, which defines that, okay, which is a countermeasure to check whether what or any kind of instances, if you are launching, okay, are they perfectly launched, okay, is this, so it's a background check it does, okay, the CPU, the monitoring part. So if you see, there are multiple details below. Let me just expand it a bit. So it will show you instance ID. So instance, because Windows INS, anyone can give a name, but the instance ID is very much unique to each one of you. It will have a public IPv4 address and a private IPv4 address. Public IPv4 address is for the internet. Private is for your machine to machine connectivity, which is generally being used. Okay. And when you will go to industry, you won't see this public IPv4 address either. You will see a private IPv4 address. Okay. Because you will be part of a corporate network. So usually you won't find a public. So it will be publicly hosted. Now you have security. Do you remember we have defined a security for NW King's demo session? So this is here, and it will also show you the kind of, if you want to see what kind of protocols we have defined. So we can just go inside it and have a look. So if you can see RDP we have defined, remote desktop, and TCP protocol it is, okay. And the port range is for the RDP types are this, and source it is open to internet. So that's why we can connect from any network to it. So basically we should have the ID, password and all this login details basically. So it's not like anyone can connect, but yeah, but it is easy to get tracked. So usually in corporate networks, you won't set up like this. Okay. The setup will be more complicated, which we'll also see in the coming lectures. So let's have a look here. Okay. So let me just reload. Okay, so networking part, all that part I have disabled. Storage, yeah, 30 GB storage we have taken. Status checks, it is initializing right now. Monitoring, it will show you CPU relation, network status check, network out, and packets in, out, all the status it will check. It can give a status of around hourly, 3 hours, 12 hours, 1 day, or 3 days, 1 week, and customize also. You can think how much you want to take, whether it could be hours, days, minutes, weeks, seconds. Okay, so that's how it would be. Okay. So let's have a look here. Let's reload it. I think it's running, so it will just take a minute to do complete a status check. Let's wait. Any questions, anyone? Let's have a status check. It should be, yeah, 2 by 2 checks have been finished. So we can just click on connect. So let's have a look here. So here is session manager, your RDP client, your EC2 serial console. One second. One second. I think one second, one second. What is the issue that's happening? Okay, fine. I think it is. We are back. So we can see three things: session manager, RDP client, and EC2 serial console. So we can go with RDP client. Okay. So we'll just download a file, which is our download remote text file, which will be available here as well, here only. Let's download, and we'll just put it into our directory. Okay, where we'll save our file. Okay. So we have saved it. So you can see I have saved it here. Okay. So can you see here, there's an option called get password, public DNS name it is here, and this is the username. So administrator will be your username. Now we can just click on get password. And if you remember, we downloaded that, we created a key when we were initializing that instance, okay, where we are given a name to it. So let's upload the private key file. And one second, we'll just go to our directory. Wait a second. And this was the file, WinKey file, which you have downloaded. So I have uploaded it here. And this is a cipher file. Okay. You can see, okay, which is encoded. So we'll just decrypt the password of it. And we have got our password here, if you can see below. And our administrator like username is here. So what we can do, we can run this thing. So let me just show you one thing. Mm. One second. So we have to go to that place. Okay, we don't have to. So can you see this Windows INS RDP? So I have to just click on that. Okay. So just allow it some time. Let me just share my whole screen. One second. Share my whole screen. Okay. So you should be able to see this pop-up now. Okay. This pop-up. So click on, so how did it come? I just clicked on this. Okay. And this pop-up will come. Okay, click on connect. It will ask you for the password, if you can see. So you have to just copy the password. Okay, and paste it. Control V, anything is fine. Okay, so usually you can check the password. Sometimes it could be incorrect. So just check it. Okay, so one second, what I can do is I can just open a notepad. From there, I'll copy here. Okay, let me just check what it is coming from. Okay, this is the password. And where is the pop-up now? Windows RDP, connect, and it will ask for the password. Okay, so it is correct now. When we are copying from this, sometimes it copies, you can copy on 3-4 times. It copies the password 3 to 4 times here. So if you can see, that was filled up. Now just click on connect. Okay, then this window will pop up, and do not ask me for any kind of connections and all that stuff it has. So you can just click on yes, and this will be configuring your remote session, if you can see. Okay, and see, this kind of window will come. You can just maximize this window, not an issue. This is preparing your this remote session, so it will just take some time. So you can virtually connect to a Windows system from here. So this Windows system, what we are connecting is will be a lot of it will be a laggy system basically. Why laggy? Because the resources what we have given is kind of that. So that's what it is. Nothing as of right now. So it is loading. Just allow it some time. Okay. If you can see, the page is loaded. This is our Windows panel. Okay. And if you can see here as well, if you can see this, so it is asking us to connect. Yes. Okay. Let it be yes. We don't have to do anything. And we can simply do a thing over here to see where this is hosted. So okay, see all the things I've set up. So remember, this is the instance ID uh 26985. So we can just compare it with the one which we had. One second. 269D5. Got it? So I hope you have got a check that, okay, it's the same instance. And we can also go into the task manager of it and have a look. Okay. Okay, we are connected. What are the resources they are using? Okay. So if you can see 1 GB of RAM it has, which is really very less. Okay. This is the Ethernet through which it is actually a virtual Ethernet, and you can see the CPU will be Intel Xeon C grade CPUs, which is for virtualizations and server grade only. So, and moreover, we can just go to this internet browser and check to which it is hosted. So let's see over it once. It will just take a lot of time. As I told, there are no resources. So that's what the reason is. So we can use any application which is used for, checking up your speed. Okay. It could be speedtest.net by Ookla or fast.com by Netflix, anything we can use. So let it give some time to get loaded up because, it doesn't have any RAM on top of it. 1 second. Start without your data, continue with this data, confirm and continue. Okay, fine. Yeah, fine. So just give it some time. It is, it's lagging. It's not because internet is slow something, because it doesn't have any resources. So it is filled up totally. Okay. So you can see RAM consumption, it is totally full. Okay. So let's close these this tabs, which is a lot laggy. So let's wait for a second. Okay, can you see it is connected to Amazon? This is the IP Ashburn VA Frontier. But if I can show you, if I connect to speed test on from my local system, so it will show you my IP and those kind of things. So if you can see, it is showing my ISP, Internet Service Provider, and where it is, you can just click on go and we'll just check about my internet speed and how it is. Okay, so you can just see this is my internet speed, what I'm having right now. Okay, so let's close it. Okay, and let's go back to this thing. And if you see, it will having a whooping high speed network. Okay, 1 millisecond I think of ping. Okay, which is very nice. Okay, it is one, and the speed would be obviously good. Okay, if you use some other server, if you use a Linux server, also the speed will be whooping high. Upload speed will be very high because for downloading, it puts a cache file on your system itself. And that is what the issue. It doesn't have that much of file. So upload and download almost, like, you can see upload speed is higher. Okay, if you can see over here. So it is a very good speed. Okay, because we have taken a free tier account. So in that, suppose the internet speed is good over here. Okay. So that's all, guys. Now what we can do, we can just disconnect from this account. Okay, and if any of you are practicing or doing a hands-on with me, so those I will just recommend just come here after finishing the thing, instance state and terminate instance. Okay. So that's a quick go tutorial about it. Moreover, we have multiple services associated which we'll be covering. So that I think from the backend team you'll get an update what all topics which will be covering majorly. and you will also have a kind of good idea, okay, what all things we'll be covering. I hope you all enjoyed the session as well, because it was more of a interactive one, which I wanted to be less of slideshows and all that things. We can do that when we cover the things in a depth. So more or less, that is fine. So we can divide, we actually will divide this whole course in a set of around maybe 16 modules. So which will cover your introduction to cloud, your IAM, your fundamentals of EC2, your comparison between public, private, and elastic IPs, which can be your solutions architect associate level thing. Okay. Then we have EC2 instance storage types, high availability and what is scalability, RDS Aurora and Elasticache in AWS, Route 53, Amazon S3, AWS Global Accelerator and CloudFront, decoupling applications such as SQL, SNS, and yeah, these are, and containering applications which we can see. Serverless architecture we'll see with Lambda and DynamoDB. Database applications we'll also see. And AWS monitoring with CloudWatch logs and CloudWatch metrics. Okay, and networking with VPC we'll also see. So this is just a quite good around thing which we'll be covering. We'll also see how to deploy and buy a website and all that stuff, more or less. So that's all, guys. That's all from my side. So I hope you have got a kind of idea about what all things are, how immersive this course is gonna be. So that's all from my side. Networking team, if you can just take it from here. Okay, guys, you can connect more about this for the with the networking team. You'll also get an idea around what all things we are going to cover. Everything will be throughout to you. And that's all, guys. This is Jerry. I'm signing off. Thank you, guys. Have a great day ahead. Okay, bye-bye.